Okay.
They all went up this
I said,
next
this
year.
is what
We want next year.
you're protecting my kid.
It's just so unfair to say.
Let's bring the meeting for the Borough of Monaca, regular council meeting for May 10th, 2016 to order. Will everybody please rise for an invocation and remain standing for a flag salute. Mr. DiMarzio.
Thank you, President Brewer. Let's bow our heads. Dear Lord and Father, thank you for your promise that you've given us, that you, where two or three are gathered together, that you are in the midst. Lord, we welcome you amongst us tonight, and we celebrate the gift of life that you have lavished upon each of us. We ask that you would open our ears that we may hear your voice. Open our minds so that we may receive your eternal wisdom. Open our spirit so that we may know your leading and guidance. And open our hearts so that we may receive your wonderful love. We ask this in the glorious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go on roll call, please.
Mr. Snyder?
Here.
Mrs. Rossi? Here. Mr. Rossi?
Here.
Mr. Mulder?
Here.
Mr. Shotter?
Here.
Mr. DiMarzio?
Present?
Vice President Zigarelli?
Present.
Mr. Wilson?
Present.
Mr. Michael? President Brewer?
Present.
Mayor Amline?
Present.
Let the record show that Jeff Michaels is working and will be here as soon as he can. Visitors, is there any comments in regards to items on the agenda? Huge audience. Any comments? Move on. Mario, communications?
No communications.
At this time, I need a motion to approve regular meeting minutes of April 27th, 2016.
So moved.
Second? Gary. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Now need a motion to approve the monthly bills.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Mayor's report, Mayor England.
Yes, the total number of citations and warnings, 143. Total criminal arrests, which is a new item we're putting on there, is 30. Total calls for service for the month was 166. And the total monetary receipts for the month of April was $5,169.42. That's all I have for them.
Does anybody have any questions? Thank you, Mayor. Manager's report, Mario.
Yeah, I don't have anything specific to report. Everything's moving along nicely with all the projects we have ongoing. I do have some items under new business that I'm sure there'll be some questions in regards. The only thing I want to bring to your knowledge is we did have a meeting here with the county commissioners, state representative, and our senator, just trying to get some movement on the streetscape project and funding. So we had the grant consultants. They were in town facilitating the EPA grant that was administered through the county. So while they were here, we just thought to take that opportunity to bring the county commissioners and everything on our need and interest on getting that project going. And Councilman President Brewer was in attendance as well. He happened to be in the office and attended the meeting. It was pretty good. Everyone sees the need for it, so hopefully.
Just finding the funding though.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mayor. Borough Solicitor's report, Attorney Good.
Yes, I completed almost all the research on the question that you had about the appointment of a police officer to the code enforcement position. That code enforcement position would be for the enforcement of your local codes, not the building code or the construction code. That is one that you have separate professional organizations to run or to do. And the answer is not real clear. The reason it's not clear is that I haven't found any case law that says you can or you can't. When looking at different cases, though, I saw a pattern that says if you had a code enforcement officer, such as when Nick was doing it under the neighborhood service office, that encompassed all these other offices that you have under a similar concept of code enforcement. For purposes of going to the magistrate and having criminal sanctions imposed, fines imposed, they are considered as law enforcement officers. So that led me to believe that if you have a police officer doing it, it will be okay. The flip side of it is if you have a police officer doing something that is most often a civil action, the strength that you have in having a police officer appear is also the detriment that you have, because you could unnecessarily and perhaps sometimes improperly intimidate somebody with someone appearing with a badge and a gun at a door that you would expect someone not to appear in that fashion. So it kind of works both ways. The thing that's swaying me against that is if you have a police officer you're having a police officer doing it in a police officer function, in a police officer uniform, and your police officers here are under civil service. So that if you appoint a police officer to that position, it is extremely arguable that that person now becomes subject to civil service, and the manner in which you would try to discipline or terminate that person now is subject to civil service. And if you've read those provisions, it's not an employee at will. You have to have specific reasons to do it. It's not easy to do it, and it creates, generally speaking, union issues. So, all things considered, although I think it's a good idea in the sense that people are going to stand up and pay more attention, I think the negatives outweigh the positives. Any questions?
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else?
No. Oh, I'm sorry, one other thing. I'm still working on some forms that we need to update in connection with your civil service rule changes. They're form letters that are sent out if you're going to appoint a psychologist or psychiatrist or a doctor to conduct an examination, things like that. So I'll get those to you in due time.
We move down to department reports. I guess we could just jump down to wastewater treatment plant. Kurt? Which video do you want to do?
Good evening, thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, Honorable Mayor, Solicitor York, Mr. Leone, ladies and gentlemen, council. This is a report for the month of April 2016. In the report that I submitted, there is a lot of information here. Obviously, I'm not going to go over it at this time. We have been very, very busy down at the treatment plant for the last, well, since January, 5 months, trying to keep up. First and foremost, the treatment plant was in compliance for the month of April 2016. Pre-treatment, you'll notice A, B, and C. The industries were required to submit their first quarter self-monitoring reports. I'm pleased to report that there were no violations by the 3 industries in town. Secondly, B, we have to conduct, according to our pre-treatment program, annual priority pollutant scan. This is extensive analysis. These are drawn in order for us to monitor the industries in town to make sure that they're not dumping anything that's going to cause the treatment plant to go into violation. And C, we also have to inspect these industries. Anchor Hockey, Metcon, and NFNM. This was conducted on April 29th. Todd Allen and myself conduct the inspections, and we do their second quarter sampling as well. Section 3, wastewater treatment plant laboratory. In order to have an accredited lab, we have to have an audit every 3 years, and that audit was conducted on April 15th, 2016. It's extensive. They go through all our paperwork and all our procedures, and I'm happy to report that there's only minor little things to correct, and that's to be expected because if they don't do that, they don't have a job. So, Section 4, sanitary waste hauling and processing. As the summer months come upon us, you can see our dollar amounts are starting to climb. Our total receipts for the month were $11,585. Section 5, belt filter press operations. You may recall January, February, March, and some of April, our dewatering was extensive in order to take down the digester. Total disposal cost for the month, because we got it all out, was $1,543.50. With that in mind, I'd like to please the report that the digester that we had discussed in years past, the one hasn't been down, has been taken down. We did that all in-house, just the three of us. And we only had one minor problem that was fixed last week. Back when they built the thing, they didn't plumb it in right. They actually got a little bit lazy and they didn't plumb the main withdrawal line into the wall the way it should have been done. So we had to call Reno Brothers in to effect those repairs. That's some heavy piping in there. It was relatively inexpensive. We are in the process of putting the digester back into operation. I do want to report, as we inspected the superstructure, that's the framing underneath that holds the whole thing together. There's just some minor flash rusting under there, which is excellent, obviously, and it was confirmed by a welder fitter from Reno Brothers that actually did the plumbing. They had done some extensive work up in Newcastle for their digester repairs, and he corroborated my beliefs that the superstructure is fine, and we're good to cap that digester back up, and it should be good for another 5 to 10 years before we take it down. So there's some significant savings of money that the borough does not have to spend there. Safety, Section 7, you know what, just a brief, because we've been so busy, you just discussed with the operators, the state law requiring safety seat belts when operating borough vehicles and private vehicles as well. And then finally, personnel, the three of us all met our obligations regarding employment. And that's all I have.
Does anybody have any questions?
And just Kurt, I want to applaud you and your guys for the outstanding job you did with the digester.
Really appreciate it.
Applaud you for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ordinance Review Committee, John and Chris, have you had an opportunity to meet?
Chris, I'll let you run with this.
So I sent an email late this evening to John, some sample ordinances that are out there, and then had a chance to talk to Solicitor York before the meeting to kind of have some guidance on what direction to move for the alley parking issue that we wanted to address in the ordinance. So with his advice, I'll kind of try and draft something up, send it to John, and then from there we'll bring it to the line.
Thank you. Any questions on that? Thank you. Executive Committee, Derek? Oh, you have, I'm sorry.
Well, I just was thinking, I know you were talking about the parking in the alleys. Does that constitute with the businesses that are in the alleys too? Or, I mean, just happened to do a lot of driving around the last couple of weeks and see a lot of people work doing businesses out of their garages. I don't know, is that something that?
Mayor, that's a pet peeve of mine.
Okay, well, you're on it, all right. That's all I
Well,
wanted to ask. Like,
Okay,
it's bad.
there's, from my vantage point as a member of council, it's very difficult to prove, unless Rich can comment on it, that somebody's running a business out of their garage, although it's obvious. And I don't go for it. I don't know, I'm at a dead end on it, and I'm glad you brought that up. Until we get a neighborhood services officer that can get involved in it, I don't know what else to do.
Okay, just wanna make sure it's on the radar. Thank
Can
you.
you comment on that though? I mean, it's almost like trying to prove somebody lives somewhere or doesn't live somewhere. You know, residency, and here we have a business, we have a couple people fixing cars in their garages.
That would require observation. You observe it, you see it, you see it enough times, multiple cars, different kind of cars, I think you could prove that.
All right, executive committee, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, President Brewer. There was no committee meeting in between the last council meeting and today, but I do have one scheduled for Monday, the 16th at 6:30. I will be out of town the next couple of days, actually out of state, so if you guys want anything to be discussed at that meeting, please email me at the Monaca, PA email address, and I'll make sure it's discussed that Monday. Again, that's Monday, 6:30. Well,
New business, motion to approve contract with Constellation Energy for LED street lighting. We discussed this at last meeting.
so moved.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Discuss rescheduling June 14th, 2016 council meeting. There's an EMA.
Drill.
Drill.
The annual drill will be conducted on the 13th. Currently, council chambers is where that is done out of. And, if this council's desire to move the meeting, we would need to then post an advertisement as such, and/or there could be some consideration of possibly canceling the meeting if not necessary.
You're not interested in going out and moving it down to CJ?
Moving what,
Meeting.
our meeting?
Our meeting.
I mean, you could, but I think would be,
It's gonna cost us
Just as
advertising.
easy to move it to the 15th.
Yeah.
it would be easier moving the date than
Moving the date,
location,
yeah.
I would think. Just the logistics of chairs and
Well,
so.
I understand where Jeff's coming from on this, and I'll make that motion, just to move the date. Pick a date, next day.
15th at 7 o'clock.
And I'll second his motion, but when this occurs again or something like it, perhaps they can utilize the CJ Mansion for that EMA. I mean, that's what Jeff started when he was here.
Yeah, the only reason he can't right now is because he doesn't have internet down there.
Yeah.
He needs internet in the meeting room in order to conduct the drill.
In addition, facilities not backup generator
Gotcha.
in the event, and this meets all the criterias for backup generator. So, the ultimate goal is to get backup generator and utilize that for it, but as we sit today, that's not achievable.
Also, the library's an option.
Well, I think by next year, this should be an issue.
Right, the easiest thing is move the date. So it's gonna be on the 15th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think tentatively, if I could, I know there was a motion, we can all, like, pick a date, but then as we get closer to that date, if the meeting's not needed, we'll cancel. If we change the date, the meeting will have to be advertised how soon in advance.
2 weeks prior.
Yeah, you should do it as soon as possible. So you don't forget. Just do it.
Chris?
I just have a couple questions, more out of frustration than anything. Who schedules this drill? Does the state schedule it or does the EMA coordinator?
I think the county.
I think it's the county.
So the county, okay, so it's not like they knew what our schedule was before they scheduled it.
I think they did, Chris. They're jamming us up. They're doing it on purpose. They're on the
No, if it was an EMA coordinator, they understand when the schedule is.
Right, I would tell
But if
Jeff.
it's a county, then it's a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we do. There's council meetings all over the county
Right.
at different days of the week, so.
Something tells me that they pick it it's always on a Tuesday, because this isn't the first year that we had a conflict with the meeting. I don't know that it happened, it wasn't an issue every year,
Right.
but I wanna say there was another year that this happened on our meeting, that there was a conflict and we either canceled it or moved it accordingly. You know, they pick a date, and obviously if they pick a Monday or a Wednesday, it's gonna conflict with another municipalities. Meaning, like, you know, most municipalities use their council chambers as their emergency management operations center.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if there's something we knew, or they knew in November of last year, or December of last year, when these were gonna occur.
They probably did, but we didn't, you know, it wasn't on our radar.
Right.
To look out for it.
Guys, does anybody on that side of the room have a problem?
I was just gonna do
What's that?
that. We threw out the 15th, this side of the room seems to want the 13th. Does anybody approve, or,
We made a motion
want it
for
the
the
13th?
Right, it was a motion, but we were still in discussion.
Yeah,
Right,
we're
have
still
it
in
in there.
discussion.
We had a motion, I didn't care what day, we just, let's move the meeting date, let's have a meeting. Is what I was advocating. So let's move the date, it's no big deal.
That's what I was just asking on your motion. Are you opposed to the 13th?
That side of the room wants it?
Yeah. Mayor can't be it either.
No.
I can't be here.
No, it's, whatever. Mayor,
You can't be here on
something
the
really goes
15th.
down in that.
I can be here on the 15th, not the 13th.
You got Boomer running this borough.
God bless you.
No, whatever you wanna have, let's just do it.
I think they're asking you, would you make your motion the 13th?
All right, thanks, Rich. I need an interpreter now. Need an interpreter now. Yes, I'll make it whatever day you guys want. What is it, 13th? Yeah, let's do it.
Monday the 13th.
You're making me look bad.
Frank, do you? Susan?
13th?
Jeff will be here that night to set this room Monday night or Tuesdays.
That's right, thanks, Don. Yeah,
So
Thursday,
we got
13th.
the 15th
13th.
it is.
It has to be, it has to be the 15th.
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 Motion.
Okay, motion to change the meeting to June 5th, Wednesday, June 15th, 2016. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Motion to approve payment number 1 in the amount of $1,350 and payment number 2 in the amount of $11,610 to Union Electric Construction LLC for elevator electrical installation at CJ Mansion.
Question on that, John. What was the first amount on that?
$1,350,
And the second was,
$11,610.
okay, percentage-wise, are we that far complete?
Yeah, these were all reviewed and inspected by the architect and engineer for the project. And based on their approval, and they sign off on it, that's
That's
where
good.
they're at.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Second,
I'll second.
any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Motion to purchase 2016 Ford Utility Police Interceptor all-wheel drive vehicle from Milham Ford in the amount of $43,948.70.
So moved.
Motion second. And Billy, just to point out, this vehicle does not include a in-car, the camera, which I believe that the chief is going to want for this vehicle. So there will be an additional approximately $5,000 added to this expenditure for the car camera if we so desire. Chief did recommend that car gets a camera.
Yeah, that's important. That car is going to be used for the K-9, so it's important, all the work that the K-9 does out there, especially with narcotics, and especially with the use of that unit. And the real purpose for it is the Explorer is just, we're putting so much money in that because it's really not a real purpose K-9 vehicle, it's just too big. So we'll take that out of the K-9 clean it up and put it back in the fleet. So we'll have that in the fleet, and that's why this vehicle is that important. But to put that camera in there is important.
And we'll do this as a three-year lease.
We have the money in the budget for that?
Well, if we move forward and not rush on filling some of the vacant positions that were created, kind of sit tight for a while, those savings will help pay for this year's
And then next year,
approximately $15,000 to $18,000.
next year's the budget.
Well, then next year we'll have to budget accordingly, and whether it's, you know, however we save the money.
Frank?
Got any cars we can sell? To try to recoup some of that?
That's a possibility that we can look at. Quite frankly, it's not something that I'm strongly recommending that we do. Probably the vehicle that we would express some interest in selling would be the Jeep, which would get the most value. But for what we would get for it, maybe $10,000 to $12,000, I think having it in the fleet, it's of more value to us just to keep it than selling it for the $10,000 to $12,000. You know, we did it with the last vehicle that we retired, that we probably could have put $800 to $1,000 in just freshly painting it up, and we would have another vehicle in the fleet when something happened, as opposed to trying to sell it and you only get $750 for it because it's a strip. It's just, or maybe trying to sell it to another police department with the lights and everything on it, we might get more money for it. And maybe, you know, if you wanted to sell the Jeep, maybe explore selling it fully equipped as opposed to strip. You know, because it's going to be a Jeep that's two-tone painted, and someone's going to have to, if they buy it, they're going to have to, I don't think they're going to drive around in a black and white Jeep. So, you know, when we sell our police vehicles, we just don't get the money out of them. It's more beneficial that we just keep it. Now, if we're in a critical financial state and we need money, and we're in dire straits, then, yeah, sell it. But I wouldn't recommend selling.
Do you have anything to add to that, Mayor?
I agree with what Mark said.
Jeff?
Mary, you said lease, 3-year lease?
Yeah, it's a lease with a dollar buyout is how they financially structure it.
Weren't we at 26 on that vehicle though?
The vehicle,
I didn't get the update, I can't get mail again.
the
so-
vehicle is at $26,775, and then the equipment to outfit it is at $16,774, and that totals $43,549.70, and then there's a $399 for a reverse sensing. That is just there's a couple option features that we're just recommending for safety purposes, having that backup sensor. If it prevents one accident, it's going to pay for itself. So.
That's what they have now, these cars, they come out with sensors all the way around, even blind spots.
Yeah.
You don't have the actual price on that camera?
The cameras approximately, they're around $5,000. Is what they've been running. Chief, is there a newer updated price?
No, that's what they are.
Pretty much
Yeah.
where they're at.
So this is $48,948.70?
With the camera, yeah.
But if we discuss it Monday in the meeting, maybe consensus comes up to sell the Jeep, is there a camera in the Jeep, Chief, that we might be able to pull out, is there anything?
There's not.
No, there's not any, that was, the Expedition never got a camera, the Jeep doesn't, the Unmarked doesn't have,
And the Explorer doesn't.
and, yeah, the Explorer doesn't.
And the only caution with the Jeep is that we've really been successful in the wintertime, climbing these hills and getting to where we need to go before Danny and his crew get out. So to keep the Jeep for that purpose, and that's what we've been doing with that, is running it pretty much all winter, because that's the only one we had, because Greg had the Explorer for the K9, which was the other four-wheel drive. So we get the Explorer back, which is a four-wheel drive, but we'd like to keep the Jeep too, so that's another four-wheel drive. That's the only caveat to keeping the Jeep that I think is good.
When I talked to Officer Nicholas, he was mentioning having a system where he can remotely let the dog out. Is that what the canine popper is on
Yes,
the quote?
exactly.
Okay, just want to make sure that's in there.
Right, and that's why we don't have the keyless entry option,
Right.
because he's gonna have the, for that, the door, and, it's gonna be all one color, so, that option. So, the only option thought was good consideration, is the reverse sense. Other than that, that's the price quote, and it's, it's all priced out, COG pricing, so it's a state contract.
That vehicle's worth more than what I paid for my house. Just saying.
No doubt,
Who made the motion? Eric, who's second?
I'll second.
Any more questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Motion to approve resolution number 10-16, emergency operation plan.
I'll make a motion to table that. Unfortunately, my speed reading skills do not come equipped.
I'll second that motion.
Where's that at?
Any questions on the table?
Page 50 of 80. I wanted to comment, I had a chance to look at it at lunchtime today. It's very comprehensive. If we had any natural disaster or war or anything like that, I mean, we have a chain of command, and that's something Jeff and I talked about. He and I are always waiting for the next ultimate disaster. It's something we needed. It's good reading.
No, and I would concur with Councilman Wilson's suggestion. We received this, I believe it was Friday, from Mr. McKay, and I told him that, we would put it on the agenda to be discussed and maybe action taken. But there's a lot to read. Solicitor York reviewed it as far as the resolution and the context, but even he duly noted there's some names that are in it that are no longer employed with the borough and stuff, and I didn't really get an opportunity to read through it in totality as well. So, making fair, I did read through it. Any comments, feedback, we'll provide it to them. This is something that we can do at our next meeting.
Just a question on that for Solicitor York. I made it through like the first couple pages, and one of the first ones was a log where the EMA can make changes to the document, to the actual plan itself. Since we were enacting this plan, would we have to then approve any subsequent changes made to the plan?
Likely we would if they're substantive in nature, if they're procedural or minor, no. Significant changes, yes.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to table resolution number 1016. All in favor? Opposed? Motion to table passes. Motion to approve resolution number 11-16, proposed Beaver County Enterprise Zone. Mario, you want to?
Yeah, let me comment on this. And, this was forwarded to me by Bob Rice, who works for the CED of Beaver County. It's called an enterprise zone. I asked him several questions in regards to this that you're probably going to ask, so I'll just kind of explain it. So the first question was this done before? And yes, it was done twice before in Monaca. It was done in the 90s, and it was done in 2007. I don't recall it, so it must have been done right before I began employment here with the Borough of Monaca. It expires. They're looking to redo it, and it would go for seven years is the length. So it would begin on July 1st of this year and go for 7 years. They have till June 30th to resubmit this. This was something that Mr. Rice had reached out to me a couple weeks ago, but it kind of wasn't on my priority. And we had this meeting, so I do apologize for rushing and putting it before you. But I asked all the questions in the due diligence. It's something that we've done in the past.
We're just looking to extend it another 7 years. He indicated to me that there's a lot of state credits that are, beyond my knowledge and understanding, but ATI and the Rome metals and a lot of that development that happened there, they were able to obtain a lot of these credits, and that's what facilitated some of that expansion down there, as well as the CED and their property with the Monaca Commerce, getting some state monies and credits to remodel and do some of the upgrades at that facility were achieved through the enterprise zone credits. There's no impact financially on the borough of Monaca. We're not foregoing any local taxes for this. And he basically said there is no financial obligation. So with all the information that he provided, the fact that we've done it twice in the past, I see no harm in doing this and recommending that we do it in accordance to knowing that we have some activity down there. This might be a great benefit to ATI with any future expansion and possibly anything that would happen at the more industrial. We'll at least be able to offer these benefits.
Rich, you have anything?
You've adopted this in the past, and I don't know of any changes to the program. I hadn't read this until now. I'm trying to get it on my computer.
And the county commissioners, sent a letter stating that they're endorsing and supporting it, and they're asking us just as a municipality to join. It only, in our commercial and industrial districts does this have an impact. And I think the state tax credits are based on how many employees your development or project is going to employ, so you get these employment credits through the state to help build, maybe 30 or 50,000 per employee. So if you're saying you're going to build this factory and employ 50 employees, and the state tax credits 30,000, 50 times 30, $1.5 million.
This is a program that in the past has funded remediation of brownfields, things of that nature, and was proven obviously to be effective. It just doesn't happen overnight, but it does provide other means by which you could develop no cost or other financial obligations, you as Mary has said.
Is there any questions on it? Okay, I'll need a motion to approve resolution number 11-16. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Motion to authorize extension of low bidders for Analine Park project to be extended for an additional 30 days.
So moved.
Second?
Question, project, bathrooms,
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I apologize for my absence, last meeting, prior meeting, working, of course, but can I give a little quick update? We were at a standstill.
Yeah, the project came over our initial estimate, cost estimates, and we had the $300,000 grant, and the project came in at $560,000.
Okay.
We went back to DCNR to ask them for potentially more funding to help assist us, and they agreed to split that difference, and they gave us an additional $130,000, so for a total grant of $280,000, splitting that $560. So Monaca Borough has to contribute $280, and DCNR is going to match $280. They have a meeting scheduled among the DCNR committee officials to grant our amendment. We won't know that until that meeting on the 17th. The bids expires, I believe, on the 16th or 17th of this month. So we would need to make a motion to award those bids at this meeting today, but without knowing absolutely positive that those monies are going to be available. You know, we just can't physically prudently make that decision without knowing that. So we're going to extend those low bids, and I verbally spoken to all the contractors, and they agreed that they would exercise a 30-day extension on those bids. So this is a formal action that needs to be taken. And hopefully I hear on the 18th from DCNR that they agreed to give us the additional 130, and at our next meeting in 2 weeks, we'll be able to award those contracts.
Okay, we have a motion, second.
I'll second.
All in favor? Opposed?
No.
Motion passes. 1 no. Motion to approve Beaver County Boom sponsorship in the amount of $1,250.
So moved.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Frank, do you have any new business?
Personally, would like to thank council, the mayor, and all the employees. It was a blanket for my mother, and really appreciate it. She really loved it. Thank you very much.
Thank
you. Other than that, no, I don't have no new business.
Randy?
No, good, thank you.
Ray? Dawn? Jeff?
Just one thing, we started putting the mileage in the vehicles and the gas usage, remember that? And I excuse my tardiness for my work. In the bills, unless I'm mistaken, I read that the water department used like $31 in gasoline last month. So, and I didn't see any for the road department, and I was just wondering if we couldn't include the usage and mileage on the vehicles in the meeting packets, please. I found that real helpful the one time we did.
Do that? Anything else, Jeff?
Are we going to, that code? Are we at a standstill yet, that's all?
It's been getting done between Mario, Dawn, and Officer Hode's been helping out too. But
We're trying to do our best. I think you heard the comment from the solicitor this evening. We're kind of waiting to, see what opportunities we might have been able to do.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't hear that.
I wasn't sure when it came in. Yeah. So,
Okay.
kick it around, the executive board meeting next Monday, and obviously we'll discuss it.
Gary?
Thank you.
Chris?
Mario, any reason to bring up Packard South Elm, just kind of fill in on that, or?
No, obviously there's a, there's a potential collapse line there that obviously is taking more earth in it and probably has gotten worse.
It's a project that's probably going to be beyond the scope of our public works department. In light of the fact that it's as bad as it is, I think an emergency status, I'm going to contact Martino's and see how quick they can get in there to make that repair. The fact that Mr. DeJoven saved us $100,000 in repairing the digester, there's some funds that we can start allocating to the infrastructure that's failing. Spend that money fast.
Anything else, Chris? Eric?
Nothing new.
Dan?
I personally haven't really observed it to attest to it. A couple people have mentioned the train tracks are messed up when you drive the one way.
We keep reaching out to them. Unfortunately, anyone who had any experience dealing with the railroads, good luck.
It doesn't have to be that way. Or in South Point, they have train tracks, they have the rubber bands. fix them and then they go bad after about a year and a half, 2 years.
There's a hunt broken out of one.
The railroad ties rotted.
Right.
Chief's contacted, Dawn's contacted numerous times. We keep calling them, but they, unfortunately, they go at their speed. I guess, you know, if somebody blows out a tire, we give them CSX's number.
Something that they're eventually gonna do, or is it just their?
They say it's before their engineers, and Dawn, you spoke to them personally, you wanna, what they actually stated, I don't suppose.
It's more of a 6-week process, once it goes to their engineering firm and gets on the list.
And Chief, you reached out to them as well, Chief, correct?
Yeah, I was in seminar all day today, but tomorrow my intention is to call and tell them that we got cars blowing tires, so we'll see if we can get them here a little quicker.
Is there anything else, Dan?
That's it.
Right.
Mayor? Good, thanks. Old business?
Last page in your packet, members, if you want to follow along or just to hear me out when you gonna be able to capture all this, the updates on this? I'm sorry for asking. You're gonna be able to write down, capture the status? Okay, I don't mean to be condescending, just, you can write, you can probably do it quicker than I can. Item number 1, it's the manager's responsibility with vehicles. We have 1 police vehicle, 2006 Crown Vic. We're holding it for further review. Is this still something, Mary, you want, or do we turn it over to the executive committee?
I mean, that vehicle is still sitting there, again, you know, trying to, you know, sell it for $750. I just don't think it's worthwhile. We might as well just hang on to it, you know, still wait and see where we go with the NSO officer. That could be a vehicle for them as well. Just hang tight on it.
All right, Don, if you could add that into that comment section, so we don't circle back on it. All right, item number 2, manager owns it, pump house lighting down, new computer for SCADA needed.
In communications with the lighting vendor and just waiting for recommendations for the lighting proposal.
Item 2B, manager owns it, with regards to flags, spotlight on poles. Is this down at the plaza?
The plaza lights are currently burnt out, and unfortunately, there's no progress to update on that one. You know, that's a bigger issue.
What do you want to do about it?
Brainstorm and probably, you know, bring in an electrician to see what it's gonna cost. But again, I think we talked about Washington Plaza. I don't know if it's a simple fix or not. I believe Simon looked at it, but there was some short in the wiring. I'll have to bring someone in and get us a cost. But I didn't do anything on that.
All right, well, you know, just to pay the cost, I just, I don't know if you could go with Halama Brothers or whoever, or whatever the process would be, so we get some movement on it. Item 3, executive committee, street maintenance program, year-round maintenance program needs looked into. Derek, we'll put this on the agenda for our next meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Item 4, is manager, street signs, update needed on existing and new signage. And I seen Danny had something in his report about replacing some signs.
Yeah, we, actually, one of the things that Leo, the summer intern, he was back and we went and looked at the street signs. In the GIS mapping, we have all the street maintenance signs coded in there, but street sweeping, some of the roads are on Monday, some are on Tuesday, some are on Wednesday. We're working with Larson Design Group, who developed the software to put in a query there so that we can, how many, you know, we type in how many Monday signs, it'll tell us how many are Monday, how many are Tuesday, to get a better assessment. But as far as all the stop signs, they've all been upgraded, they're all new. But the next item that we have to work on are the street name signs, and that's where we're at.
Item 5, Executive Committee, this is in reference to jobs to be contracted out in specific catch basins and fire hydrant. Place that on the agenda, or do we?
Yeah, we're gonna speak about it again on Monday. We spoke about it the last meeting in regards to reaching back out in regards to the catch basins, the fire hydrants. We were not gonna contract out, but we were getting quotes for the catch basins.
Yeah, and the fire hydrants and the repair kits have all been ordered. We have not received them yet, but once, you know, they're prepared, once we receive them, to start changing.
They give you a lead time on
I don't know where, they were ordered probably at least 2 weeks ago. But I don't have, off the top of my head, I don't have that.
Let's move on. Item 6, Manager, Inline Park, update needed. I don't know what that is. Is that for the?
Yeah, I probably gave that to you already.
All right, Don, if you could, for the description, Inline Park, make that the, is it the restroom? What do we call it? Building permit. Okay, thank you, that sounds good. Okay, ordinance, alley parking, Mr. Schroeder gave us an update on that. I'll review my part that he sent to me, and we'll bring something back to council at the next meeting. Okay. Number 8, it's undefined who owns it. We know PennDOT owns it. Pennsylvania Avenue, 14th Street catch basin collapsed. We have metal plates out there. Last time, just to rehash the whole thing, asked PennDOT for status. That was 5/26/15. Estimate, that's a year ago. Estimate repair was about $30,000. Dance studio is worst spot. So we do need some kind of movement on this. It's going to become a safety issue in the future. Any comments, Mayor? Rich, you don't want to say that.
I like it.
You know better than that. That wall, I don't want to discuss it. It's great to fall. Can you reach out to them again, Mayor?
Yeah.
We have somebody else in mind.
No, I mean, PennDOT's not going to make the repair. This is gonna be,
It's going to be an ongoing-
whether you decide to do it as an emergency and put it out and just award it, or we're gonna have to get the engineers to put out specs and, put it out for bid.
Well,
It's a matter of which.
this has been an ongoing issue ever since I was on council. They talked about, there's I don't want to call it, the disparity between boroughs and townships. If this were Center Township, the state would fix it. But because it's a borough, we're responsible for everything under that road. It's just the way it is. And perhaps something that, I don't know, we should pen something off to the Boroughs Association. This law needs changed. Maybe that's the route we gotta take. I don't know. Do you want us to get specs on it? Is it what it would cost? Or we already have it? Think about it. I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Yeah,
It'd be nice if the county and state politicians could get moving, that could be rolled into the Main Street.
Yeah,
Because it all needs done anyway.
well, okay. Item number 9, Executive Committee fire hydrants. 5 hydrants and 11 repair kits have been ordered. And that's, you did order that 5 and 11, right? Does that match up with your order?
yeah.
Okay, we'll just let that ride, Mary, I guess, until the parts come in. Item 10, Executive Committee, water sanitary line insurance. It's in progress, discussed about a year ago. And engaged in 3 forms of bidding. Go ahead.
I did receive over the weekend, an insurance company that responded back to me in regards to the water line. Also, Duquesne Light offers it, but I think we still need to discuss in committee, if we ourselves would like to post an insurance and fix manually inside and how we would go about billing that to customers and what the benefit would be.
Discuss it at the meeting? Okay. Item 11, ANSO, officer's responsibility. You and Dawn and Officer Hogue are handling this right now?
We are,
Sidewalks?
but the sidewalk ordinance, I think, needs to be, it needs to be looked at.
Currently says that they have to file an application, and it deals with the engineer. It's an old ordinance, and I think we need to look at modifying it, and then maybe more strongly addressing the whole brick and,
Yeah. Brick and concrete. Well,
can somebody lift their brick and clean out the grass and put it back down? Is that something that the borough wants to be acceptable, or do we need to seriously look at not permitting brick sidewalks? And it's a tough one. But most of the sidewalks that are bad is town and brick.
well, for the edification of council, we currently don't allow for brick sidewalks. We don't already ordinance. Mr. Schroeder and I will review that. If you could take it from the NSO officer and assign it to Chris and myself, and we'll see what we got and come back for revision, for review for council and solicitor. We'll make what changes are necessary. Item 12, manager, jet machine. You're in process of getting it repaired.
The jet machine was repaired, and the vendor that we purchased it off of US Municipal, he is inquiring with customers and seeing if there's any interest out there amongst, because we can, obviously we'll have to put it out for bid, but we're just letting it be known that we have this machine that's out there and trying to assess the market value.
And once we get, we could get an ad together after you find out from him, if nobody is interested in, get the COG to set it up for all the communities also.
Well, I'm trying to get a projected value for it.
All right, these are, what is this, a sewer line, or not, a line jetter? You know what it is?
Sewer line.
Road line jetter.
Pull line, right?
It's a pool behind,
Right.
yeah.
All right. Item 13, leaf machine. We need a quote to repair these impellers.
Yeah, the quote to replace the impeller is going to be, probably cost prohibitive. It's not going to make sense. Actually, just got a fax today to purchase an attachment on the street sweeper, not knowing exactly what this attachment does. But that cost was $11,000 and some change for that attachment. So
What's the attachment do?
I don't know. I just got a fax that Danny solicited. It attaches to the street sweepers, all I know, and I'm not real sure what it does. I need to find out more what this attachment is capable of doing. But we're looking at a cost of $11,000 and some change. So what you would be looking at, you're probably gonna spend more than $11,000 getting the leaf box repaired. It might make more sense in getting this attachment for the street sweeper, or there's another piece of equipment that actually attaches to the tailgate of a dump truck that can be utilized to pick up some leaves too. Again, not knowing what it all does at this point, that's the furthest update I can give you at this time.
Okay, that's all we have on our action item list. Is there anything that council has? Yeah?
No, I just want to make a comment about the water line insurance. Now, I'm thinking about it from a personal angle, and a borough angle. As a resident, I know it's out there, and if I want it, I can find it and purchase it. From the borough angle, I don't want to get into the insurance business. Who's gonna have it, who's not gonna have it, because it doesn't sound like any of these people are gonna do anything for us, unless somebody knows something that I don't, as far as, okay, we're gonna go with insurance company X. Well, now we got Gabby putting it on the bills, what are we doing collecting money for these people? I don't wanna become a collection agency for an insurance company.
One, we
Wanna buy
don't
insurance.
collect for them. We don't collect for them.
Well, okay, what was the,
You only endorse that company, and then under us endorsing them, it helps them with the marketability of it. The Monaca Borough is endorsing this company for this service. The one company that we looked at, they created somewhat of a conflict. If it was $6.50 a month for the insurance, they gave the borough 50 cents for everybody that signed up a month. It was like a royalty for
an incentive program?
Yeah, an incentive. Well, there was some concern as to whether or not we can do that, and we would have to put this out to bid for other companies to do that. And there was also some concern, as you say, should the borough really be endorsing a company for this? And like you know, it's out there. If somebody wants it, they have the ability to get it. So depending on where the majority of council wishes to go with it, that's kind of where it was in limbo, because some shared your view, and that's why it really, there wasn't a real consensus for it or against it, and it just sat there in limbo. And I don't know where it lies. We're bringing it back up for discussion, and there's pros and cons to it. Advertising and raising more awareness to our residents for it. When a situation arises, the more residents that have it, when the issue comes up, it would get remediated quicker because there's insurance to pay for it. Most people don't think about it until they have the problem, and they, well, you could have bought insurance for this. Well, I didn't know. There's both sides. There's both sides of it.
We'll discuss the executive committee on Monday and decide whether to move forward with it or just take it off the old business altogether. Is there anybody else on the old business? Citizens' comments, complaints, and compliments. Jeremy.
Good evening, Council. My name is Paul Lyons, 836 Summit Avenue, Monaca. A lot of new faces here. I am your Borough Fire Marshal. This is more of a, for your information, for the last couple months, towards the last of the year, I do receive a lot of open fire complaints. Let's don't get it mixed up. There is a burning by permit only in this town. A lot of residents now feel this is a camp resort, and they're putting campfires in their backyards for weekend sessions. So I usually never get a phone call that night, but I do get talked to 3-4 days down the road from the event. And my comment to them would be is, call the police. These fires go on 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and they do get loud. I don't know if there could be an announcement put over the radio phone system about burning in the town of Monaca by permit only. If there's any other paperwork to get out to the residents, that's the best solution I can come up with at the moment. I'm not going to confront somebody at 2:30 in the morning because they were burning. But the people that usually complain to me about it is a neighbor, and my thing to them is, call the police department. It happened about last year, and it was taken care of by the police. But at this moment, just for your information, if you hear anything out there, that's the best solution I can come up with at the moment. The open permit fires are usually during the day hours only, and they are controlled. But the evening fires seem to be getting out of hand, and it's only May.
Oh, I have a question for you. Are you talking about like bonfires in the back?
Well, they start out the.
Because I have a little container.
Well, there's a few that do the little container for the kids, for hot dogs, marshmallows and that, but these fires seem to be getting bigger. Pallets, couches, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
so,
I mean, I don't know if we'll be able to do anything through the phone tree, but we do have a newsletter going out in June, and we'll make sure.
I would definitely send out a newsletter, but like I said, the permits, like Dawn knows, and the police, they do get a copy of the permit. And if any, I give out maybe 8 of them to 12 a year, and it's usually to the same older crowd that cleans up during the winter. They burn it in their garden, they plant their garden. So this is just a younger generation, either they're renting, it seems like it's a lot of renters that are on the property of renting, and it's a free-for-all. So, just for your information, that's the best I can tell you right now. And if you do get any phone calls, that would be my resources, just to call the Monaca Police Department.
Excellent.
Okay?
Thank you, Paul.
Frank?
How much are permits, are they?
They're free, they're free.
And where can we drop off our couches?
Well,
Might have an over for you, Paul.
we'll get you, there's a lot of them out
We'll
there,
get you a permit.
so,
I'll bring it over.
you got it. Clean.
No, it's for burning.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Any other citizens? Citizen section is now closed. We have anything for executive session? Nothing? Announcements? Does anybody have anything else? No? Oh, Frank?
Real quick, I got something in the mailbox, what's the pothole killers? So one man, one truck deal?
I think it's a one-man.
That's what, for a little bit I was reading, I was like, was it like the new Chitty Chitty Bang Bang or something?
Pretty much what it is, yeah.
I thought that was a new rock group or something.
Probably about $250,000.
Well, I mean, you know, one truck will travel.
Anything else? Frank, you got any more? Motion to adjourn? Frank and Chris, all in favor?